Today I'm going to be doing like a tutorial on Avatar Conquest multiplayer, and that's basically it. This is for good players, bad players, I don't know, there's probably something here for you. I'm going to start with units. You know, it's basically rock, paper, scissors. I assume you know that about Total War by now. You know, spears most of the time lose to swords, spears beat cat, kind of stuff. We'll start off, and I'll probably put a link in the description to get past this part if you don't want to know about the units. But for now, let's begin. So light cav, they're the fastest. Almost no armor, 2, same as a monk unit, and you can kind of read stats to tell they're good there. These kind of units are really good at picking off cav, or not picking off cav, taking the front charge of cav, being really fast. They can sneak around, hit people in the flank, and even though they're not that good at cav, getting hit in the flank will severely damage morale. Plus, they're also really good at sometimes like suicide charging into other bow units just to keep them contained while you charge forward with infantry or something. Monk units, they're all low armor, just like this guy, 2 armor, but they all have high morale. And this kind of unit's a support unit. You know, they come in after the light cav, after the Yari cav, and they just kind of help hold off. Okay, bonus versus cav. Charge is pretty weak, usually want to be over 20. Melee defense, not too bad, but you can also upgrade their melee defense quite a bit. There's 4 different upgrades for that. So overall, they can become a pretty beefy unit, hard to kill. And they're also a full unit compared to the light calves, like 1/4 of a unit. Or 3/4 of a unit, however you look at it. Yari cav, they're basically like the main body of the army, like of the cav army. Okay armor, okay morale, you know, okay attack and defense, but what really gets them going is the bonus versus cav and the charge bonus. Bonus versus cav basically means when they're fighting cav, you take this number and you add it to the melee attack. So they basically do 22 attack to cav. That's huge. And they're basically just shot cav. You charge them in, charge them out, charge them in, charge them out, and they have huge impacts on the charge. Bow cav, not much to them. Full unit, okay morale, and there's bow cav. Katana cav, they're hard to use because they have no bonus at killing cav, but if you manage to get them at fighting infantry or hit someone in like some spears in the back, they'll do massive damage because they have a huge amount of attack, good charge, good armor, that kind of stuff. You don't want to send these guys head first against other cav though, simply because of the charge bonus difference and the bonus versus cav difference. Mounted Naginata and Mounted Samurai I would refrain from using. They're a half unit, and really their stats aren't that good for being a half unit. Great Guard, they're just like a Yari cav on steroids. It's literally better in every way, except cost. And basically all you do with these kind of units is you want to make sure they stay alive, because they have really good stats. You want to waste them. And when they're upgraded, they're really expensive. Like my level 6, not even level 9, which I probably won't upgrade to level 9, but we'll talk about that later, costs 1,640. But the stat jump is huge. We move on to spear infantry now. Sorry about that. They have Yari Ashigaru, which are like the weakest of spear infantry, but they have the most in the number because they're Ashigaru. Normal unit 160, Ashigaru 200. Basically, they suck in every way. However, they can form a spear wall, and they have a huge bonus versus cav. Spear wall isn't really too good until they get upgraded, but it can hold units off for quite some time, and usually get some cost efficiency because they're really cheap. You don't want to spam these guys though, because it will cause mass routes when you have too many low-level units. Warrior Nuns and Warrior Monks, some people don't really understand the difference. Like I said, they're monk units, which means usually pretty high morale, not so much Warrior Nuns. But the main difference between Warrior Nuns and Warrior Monks is nuns have less per unit, 100 versus 160 on ultra unit size, and however they're better in almost every way. They have 20 attack and 6 defense, and versus 11 attack, 8 defense. 2 less defense, like twice the attack. They're way better at fighting. However, there's less of them, and it makes them kind of weaker to like missile units and stuff like that. But they don't get the war cry ability like monks do, warrior monks. And war cry just lowers attack, or lowers defense, not attack. Sorry, lowers speed and their morale. And that's honestly why I'd rather have this unit. However, some people do manage to pull off warrior nuns pretty well. Yari Samurai, they're just upgraded Yari Ashigaru, cost almost double in price, but they're basically twice as good. More armor, more bonus versus cav, better in every single stat way. They also have the sprint ability. I don't remember what it's called exactly, but they just move faster, and it gives more speed equals better charge. Really good for just holding flanks and stuff like that, and they're also not too bad at fighting other units. These guys, they have a Naginata, which I forgot to talk about with monks, but it's basically a mix between a sword and a spear. Some people just think it's a sword on a stick. But they have, which means they have okay bonus at fighting cav, and they're okay at fighting infantry, just not as good as a sword at fighting infantry, not as good as a spear at fighting cav, like a neutral unit. But these guys are a neutral unit all around. Moderate stats, okay versus cav, and huge amount of armor, so they're just really good tanks. Attendance, less in number, like not a full unit. But basically these guys are good if you just want like a blob of people to fend off cav. Some people go really sword heavy, and then they bring these to protect the swords. Pretty smart idea. However, you can only bring 5 of them, which is kind of bad. But they're really cheap too, so if you want some cheap anti-cav, those are the guys. Swords, Lone Sword Ashigaru, they're basically, they're like a full unit, just like the Yari Ashigaru. And they have worse stats than the other sword units. But, well, once upgraded, you really only want to use these guys with the leadership general. Because if you're going to have swords, they're usually the core of your army. And you don't want the core of your army only having 5 morale, it's pretty weak. But there is a lot of retainers and other stuff to help boost that. Katana Samurai are just upgraded lone swords. They're better in every way. The only disadvantage is there's less, 160 compared to 200. But once these guys are upgraded, they're really beefy. They can just hold in a fight forever, and just not forever, but not as well as a Naginata Samurai or something, but they can stand and fight. Something some armies really need, something some armies would be better without. Melee Nodachi, it's just costs 100 more, and they're basically like blitzkrieg units. They're just shock infantry. Huge attack, no defense, huge charge, okay morale, no armor. Yeah, these guys are also really good. They will beat Katana Samurai in a 1v1. However, that does not mean they're better units. Once the first 30 seconds of the fight is going on, Nodachi start to lose their charm, and Katana Samurai are better at that point. Sword attendants are the opposite of Naginata attendants. A lot of spear heavy armies bring these just to get a few kills. Nothing really special here. They're just like a really bad Nodachi. Alright, and when it comes to bows, basically there's bow Ashigaru, bow samurai, bow warrior monks, and then foot samurai, which really nobody uses. Bow samurai or bow Ashigaru have even less armor than monks, basically naked. Good range, and they're really just good for like laying down arrows. That's really it. Bow samurai are better in every way. They're just a little bit less in number. Same range though, and just decent all around. The armor really helps out when they're fighting other bow units. But warrior monks, they're better in almost every way. They're not good. They're not as good in melee. More morale, less armor, but better bow stats. So these guys are like snipers. Like, you just want to keep them in the back, and when they fight bow samurai, they will lose if they're within the same range, which is why you got to use the range advantage against bow samurai, because they have way more, and there's more of them, 100 versus 120. So you want to utilize that, the range. And that's not too much of a big of a deal if you just keep microing them back and etc. And foot samurai, no one really uses these guys just because they're half a unit. They're even less than half a unit. But they do have really good stats, it's just there's not that many of them, which kind of makes them not too used. Matchlocks, they hurt morale. It's mainly what most people use them for, is just morale. Ashigaru, really low armor. Basically, these guys, they don't get that many kills, but they do get that first volley off, which hurts morale, and they'll eventually reload, but they're just kind of support troops. Matchlock Samurai, they can actually stand and fight with better armor and stuff like that. They're longer lasting. Better reload and accuracy, though, so they can keep shooting more. But Warrior Monks, or Matchlock Warrior Monks, are better reload, accuracy, and even though they have the same range, they actually have increased range, which gives them 125. It's like a bonus you can add to them. And then they're also the same unit size as these guys, and they'll beat other Matchlocks pretty easily with the range advantage. When they're fighting bows, though, that's their weak point, as they have almost no armor. Siege units, not much to say here. Firebomb throwers, not, you can experiment with those, I don't really like them. Fire projecting magnals, they're standing still, they're really only good for sieges. They suck at land battles, they just can't hit anything. And when they do, it's only going to be 20 kills, but you paid like 1,300 for it. European cannons are better fire magnals, but they can't really move. The only thing they lack is they can't shoot like at arcs, like the magnal can. So they can't shoot over walls and stuff like that. The reload is 20, accuracy 25. Not too much going on. But they do have slightly more range. Fire rockets, you can bring these guys to land battles. They only have 5 shots each, and they're really low on number and morale. So you want to keep these guys protected if you do bring them, because they're huge expensive. But they do get a lot of kills if you hit. You can pick off key units, like you see a guy with level 9 Katana Samurai, you're like, I don't want to deal with that. Just pop. Ninja, hard unit to use. Not going to say too much about these guys. I figured next we could talk about how to veteran units, and that might sound weird. And it is up to preference, however there are preferred ways to upgrade units. Like with bow units, usually you want reload accuracy. The only reason I increased the damage on them is so I could get increased range. Like enemy spotting, not too good. Speed, barely noticeable. Fatigue resistance, like not even noticeable. Extra ammo, you might need that if you're playing in a siege or you plan on like playing range game for a long time. Usually doesn't happen too often though. And whistling arrows, they affect morale, melee attack, and reload speed. Decent, but I don't usually get it because I don't like paying extra renown. And that's what I was going to talk about next, is every upgrade you add adds more renown, which is why you want to be careful with how many upgrades. For example, this unit right here is right here, level 9. It's level 9, but yet I still have 7 points that I can spend on it, skill point 7. So that means if I want, I can just go morale, melee defense, charge, and then fatigue resistance. But I don't want to do that. That's really bad. That'll add a lot of cost, and all they really need is attack. And I'll explain why. Yarikav, their main goal is to just charge, get out. They really need defense because they're not going to be in the battle too long. There's 2 ways to upgrade these troops. A lot of people tend to agree on this. Is you put both an attack and leave it be, or you put both an attack, and then I'll show you, because see how these all cost 1,000? They're all done the same way, but both an attack. These guys have, they're level 6, they're capped at level 6, it means I put 6 points in them, 2, 4, 6. Basically I put 2 in attack, then 2 in defense, and then once they were at level 5, I put both in the melee attack, and as you notice, they cost 240 more with this, which is quite a bit, but they do have quite a bit more attack, so it's kind of worth it. You don't want to over upgrade though. Like for Cav, you don't need fatigue resistance, you don't need speed, and charge is like, no one really knows. I've heard a lot of things about charge, but the general consensus is that once it gets over 20, charge becomes less and less useful. So I just don't upgrade it. Like $50 for 5 more charge doesn't really make too much of an impact. I've done some testing with it and it's not even noticeable. So bow units, like all Cav units should be upgraded on that kind of basis. Like Katana Cav, for example. I barely use these guys, but I do like them to have really good stats. So you could put 2 in attack and leave it, or 2 attack, 2 defense, 2 more in it. And for these you need clan tokens, which you just get by playing match-made battles and being in a clan. Doesn't even have to be an active clan, just any clan. These guys are just here. Talk about that later. Bow Cavs, same principle as when you're upgrading bow infantry. Mounted gunners, for these guys, they're like, I guess, quote unquote a hero unit, but I would just get reload speed, accuracy, because they have a gun. Like, you don't really need missile damage unless you're fighting bulletproof samurai, and then your 5th should probably be increased range. You don't really need any other stuff. Not too good. Increased range gives them 125, and then they can compete with Matchlocks and outshoot them and stuff like that. And all Cav, like I said, follow this principle, like as you can see here. 2 defense, 2 attack, 2 attack. Same stuff, repeated. Matchlocks, I don't honestly use these too often, even though they are upgraded. If someone I know plays like really heavy on range units, I'll bring these guys though, because like 125 range compared to the normal 100. Basically, on Matchlock, 2 accuracy, 2 reload, increased range. That's all you really need. On this guy, I did the same thing, except I put rapid volley with it. I was just experimenting with that. It's alright. It helps if you're fighting other Matchlocks. Skip over those more Matchlock units. The only Matchlock unit you want to put damage on is these guys, heavy gunners, because they knock a lot of troops down and don't actually kill them. So you want to actually kill them when you knock them down. Naginata warrior monk unit. It's basically the same thing. You put 2 attack, 4 defense. And then once they're at that point, you get a pretty good attack going on. 15 attack, 20 defense. This unit focuses more on defense, which is not too bad. I mean, they are a Naginata unit. So that's really it for them. You can also upgrade them by putting a point in morale. I just didn't see a point because they already have 12, and there's a lot of retainers that boost. Another way to upgrade these guys, though, I forgot to talk about, is I always put them level 6. I guess some ways you could do it, you could keep them level 4, 2 attack, 2 defense. You could also just put 2 in attack, leave it. Pretty personal. I just like to have good monk units. Bulletproof Samurai have the same upgrading stats as like Yari Samurai. I don't have all the units veterans. I only have like the units I use, except for my other avatar, but I'll get to that in a minute. Yeah, so 2 attack, 2 defense, 2 more defense, and then for some reason on this guy I put morale, probably because he only had 11. Katana Samurai, this is my favorite unit. You can upgrade these guys in a lot of ways. Some people say 2 attack. My favorite way is putting 6 points into them. 2 attack, 1 defense, and then 1 morale. Reason you gotta put morale is because there isn't 2 defense upgrades. So morale is better than these 3: charge, fatigue, and speed. And then once you get down here, you want to upgrade melee attack. So basically you got 2 attack, 2 attack, that's 4 in attack, 1 melee defense, 1 morale, and that leaves them at level 6. This unit, for some reason, I have melee defense on 2, but that's personal, up to you. And the dodge, you can do like this, where you put 4 attack, like just like the level 6 Katana Samurai, or you can do it like most of my Nodachi. As you can see, they're all level 2, even though some of them are a little bit higher, like this guy level 3. But I just recently did this and I find it really effective. Is you just put 2 in attack. Reason being, they get a little bit too expensive when you start putting other upgrades, 1190 versus 950. And once you put 2 in attack and you got like the retainers going on, you can get 21 attack and 1 defense. Those are just huge shock infantry for such a cheap price. And then I'll show you some of the other units on my other avatar that I maybe skipped over. I messed up a little bit with a lot of the veterans on this avatar. As you can see, Katana Samurai, attack, morale, defense, defense. That's basically all it is every time, is attack, morale, defense. You don't want any of their stuff. Special cases is when you get like Banzai and stuff. Yari Samurai, and once again, I upgraded these all the way. Only reason for that was I wanted to get hold firm, and that's a really good ability to have, and you can experiment with that on your own. I have a lot of Yari Samurai with that ability because I loved it at the time. If I go back to my other avatar, I have level 9 Lone Swords, which I was going to talk about this because the Lone Swords are generally regarded as a bad unit, but since I mostly use a leadership general, I figured I would upgrade melee attack, defense, morale, and then I put 1 point in charge just so I could get at the extra levels. But once I got clan skill upgrades, I put defense, attack, and Banzai. Now Banzai is really good for this unit because they lack morale. So when they're starting to break, I pop the Banzai and then they stay in a lot longer. And they're also better slightly than Nodachi. Not so much stats because they have 1 less attack, more defense though. But they're a full unit. Like these guys get 160, these guys get 200, so they have a number advantage. However, that does kind of wear off when it comes to how much morale they have. Like they have double the morale. It's kind of just personal choice. But a level 2 Nodachi is only 100 less than a level 9 Lone Sword, so. Alright, next part of the video, I'll talk about retainers, and this is pretty simple. You want to choose retainers that go with your army. I'm not going to go over every retainer. I think it's a bit pushing it. But as you can see, I use a sword heavy, cav heavy army with attendants to help me out. And that's what I've just been doing recently. There's other ways to do it. But I figure I need more morale. I need more attack, so that's +3 attack. And then I love Great Guard, use that for Great Guard, and then that allows me to get 2 more attack on cav. There is retainers that you want to refrain from using though. I usually use the positive retainers like green arrow, because the red ones don't usually benefit too. And the red ones just means they hurt your opponent, like disrupt it. A lot of these retainers aren't too good. The best ones I would say would be World Weary. It hurts veteran units by -1 attack and morale. And that's pretty big. -2 melee attack for all swords. This is pretty good for I don't know, anyone who goes sword heavy like me. I get a little bit triggered when I see that. Stricken Unholy Forge, that's a rare one, but it's pretty good. -1 armor for melee infantry. It's not too noticeable, but if you're defending a siege, it's pretty good. Enemy warrior monk units receive -2 morale. That kind of takes away the monk advantage of having more morale. Livestock Pestilence, I don't use this. I've been told by some good players like Order of Death and some of those that it's pretty good at slowing down cav. I haven't really noticed the difference though, but they say it's good. I'll take their word for it. Mimpo Mask, I'll talk about these in a minute. When it comes to good retainers though, it's pretty much whatever matches your army. Like light cav +1 attack. Like why would I bring that when I can get practice grounds which brings +2 attack? Stuff like that. And when it comes to legendary retainers, these are really rare. but I have most of them, if not all. And basically it's just retainers that are extremely hard to get, but really good. Like this one, Katana of the Pure Land, it makes it to where melee attacks ignore armor, and it's only for your general. So it's not like your whole army gets that bonus. That'd be insane. Dragonfly Cutting Spear is an alright one. I've heard it's broke, like it doesn't actually give the 5 bonus to Cav, and I've heard it actually does. That one's debatable, I don't really know. The speed one, not too good. This one is pretty good for leadership gens. It increases the radius of your avatar, and the cooldowns are decreased by, I think, around 20 seconds, so it's not too much, but pretty good. This one I don't usually bring, not too much of a difference. Plus 10 melee defense, that's really good if you're a melee general. This one is a lot of people's favorite. They'll bring a melee general with this mask, and that means when whoever's close to your avatar receives -3 morale, and that's a huge penalty. You charge someone in the back, you're already giving them the minus morale from just being hit in the flank, but then you already have this mask on. It's just really good for causing routes, which is what you want for a melee general. You want the fight to be over fast. This one also 10 melee attack. Some people use this one, and this one, so plus 10 attack, defense, and imposing. Avatar plus 2 hit points, not too good, and then the plus 6 armor, debatable. If you have a free slot, why not? But if you bring a melee general with all these legendaries, it's going to be really hard to lose the small fun battle, because your general can basically win it for you. But that's it for retainers. When it comes to skill tree, this is preference. I switch a lot. It's just whatever I'm feeling. Usually you want to stick to one tree though. And by that I mean either melee, bow, or leadership. Physical is kind of its own tree, but I don't really consider it much. It's just like an assisting. But leadership, it gives you the plus 2 morale for your entire army, stand and fight, lower cooldowns, fatigue resistance, minus morale for units nearby. That's not too good, because you don't want your general to die when you're a leadership, because he's usually not too good at combat and stuff like that. Stand and fight's really good, increases attack by 2. That's great. Okay, so I guess we'll start with, or go on to bow mastery. Bow general is, a lot of people hate it, but it's because it's good. Once you get bow damage and all the tree filled out, you can get, except for sniping, that's not really good of an ability, you can get really good shots at 200 range, and with all the armor penetration and bow damage upgrades, you just melt through enemies. Typically you want to keep your bowgen army would usually be cav based, because if you're a bowgen, you probably aren't really good at protecting yourself, and that's kind of what you need. Melee combat with no penalty against spears and increased bodyguard size is a lot of people's favorite, because he can charge into spear units and not get slaughtered. Like, he will fight spears at no cost. When it comes to physical, you need physical for other things. Like, you need speed to get charge, you need speed to get reload speed. Fatigue resistance, not really that needed. Same with hit point bonus, not really that needed, unless you're like, there's a few circumstances where having that would help. Most of the case, not so much. Next, I figure I'd talk about how to use units. No, we won't talk about that. We'll talk about how to join a clan and all that kind of stuff. All the info, the other tabs. Basically, this is TKS, the clan I'm in. We've been in clan for a long time. But this is, even if I was in a clan that didn't actually do stuff, it would be okay. The only reason I'm in a clan is for clan tokens. Also, I like a lot of the people here. There's also a lot of really experienced players in this clan. Godless Berserker, he's the clan leader. He's got like 9,000 hours, 10,000 games. He's insane. Warhammer, also a really good player. He's helped me a lot. Without him, I probably wouldn't be as good as I am now. He's ranked 25 world, and he's played 15,000 games, only lost 4K. That's huge win-loss ratio. this page, your avatar profile, this just tells you all your achievements and stuff. Pretty basic. There's not much to it. Like, I at one point was 18 on the ladder for land, like in the world. I was pretty proud of that. Now I'm at like 2,000 something. I'm trying to get that back, but it'll take a little bit. This is just the ladder for the 1v1 land. There is really no 2v2, 3v3, or 4v4 because no one plays those, sadly, because it's 2017. But yeah, sea battles. A lot of people, I won't say a lot, but the people who like sea battles really like sea battles. Like this guy, he's in TKS. I mean, look at him, 91% win loss. This guy, Apache, he barely loses, 95% win loss and streak of 14. Some of these people might cheat, don't know, not gonna judge them, but if they are this good, then congrats to them. Conquest map, I probably should have talked about this at the start, but this is pretty basic. Clan marker, turn on clan competition. Our clan actually pays attention to this, and like we actually compete in this. No real bonus for it. It's just kind of like an ego thing. But basically every season is a week long, and you just try to capture the provinces by winning battles on them. Right now the clan marker is on this province, and we always take this island. And as you can see, we have 300 points on it. Get around 20 to 30 a win. And 45 here. 25 here, not too much because the clan marker's here, but we usually just like stack like 300 points on each province. Here recently we've been slacking a little bit, but we always get in the slumps. And like right here, Great Han, they have 139 points, we have 135. They're beating us, so this territory is theirs. Yeah, like they're beating us by 4, we win one more battle here, it'll be ours again. Let's see here. When it comes to, if you're new, I recommend Battle List if you want to fight players around your level. Like if you look here, average rank, usually, like these are high games, but 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 4 games that are pretty low. These are pretty low too, they're probably like bronzes or something, but just up to you. If you want to find people that are around your skill, just host, kick people over too. A lot of the misconception is that matchmaking, it doesn't actually put you against people that are your level at all. It puts you against whoever's queuing. Whoever it finds you with, you're gone. If you're a level 2 bronze, it'll put you against level 10 gold. It doesn't care, it's just trying to get you in a match. And win or lose though, win you get 2 clan tokens, lose you get 1. As you can see, I got 600, that's a lot. But upgrades do take like 10 each, 20 each, so. That's going to be it for this video though. I'm probably going to make another one on just common tactics you can do for troops. That includes anything you want, like light cav in front of Yari cav and stuff like that. I'll probably set up scenarios and get a friend to help me with it. But for now, that's it. See ya.